Hi everybody, Brian from Steeda, featuring the Borla S-Type catback exhaust system for 2020 and later Ford Explorer ST and Platinum trim levels. There are a couple of big reasons to consider installing a catback exhaust system on your Explorer. And one of those reasons is performance. We always love adding performance to our vehicle. And the reality is that the catback exhaust is really a great bolt-on way to do this. And when you have a freer flowing exhaust, this means that there's less back pressure against the turbos. This means that they can spool up faster. It means they have less heat in them, thus less heat getting back into the engine. We've talked about this with intake air temperatures. And the reality is better performance, better acceleration, better towing power, and just more fun. The other aspect of this is customizing the sound. Let's face it, we want to be unique. We want to add some customization to our vehicle because, well, we are enthusiasts. And whether you're towing a race car behind you or cruising to work every day, we know that you're enjoying your Explorer. And the reality is, why not enjoy it just a little bit more? When you throttle into it, let's put a smile on your face. When you think of an exhaust system for a Ford Performance vehicle, Borla immediately comes to mind. And this is why we're featuring the Borla S-Type exhaust system for this particular Explorer ST. It's important to note that Borla has backed the industry for a very long time and has a long-running history of developing free-flowing exhausts that sound great. So there's no downside to this exhaust. And you're going to say to yourself, this is a person that's truly an enthusiast that has great taste in modifying their vehicle. They can appreciate the larger, more sporty rolled tips that are 4 inches in diameter, yet the subtlety of them being black chrome, so they sort of blend in naturally to the back of the Explorer. From a performance standpoint, this is a true dual setup all the way back and utilizes 2¼ inch tubing all the way through. Now, one of the great things that Borla always does is they spend a lot of time tuning their resonator as well as their mufflers. The resonator is 2 in and 2 out, and it's a chambered style. So what this means is that internally the sound waves actually kind of knock each other down and those frequencies, again, balance out. The result of this is no drone on the highway, a deeper sound, which is tough to achieve sometimes with a 6-cylinder engine, particularly a turbocharged engine. So you get a little bit of that deeper sound, and more importantly, no drone on the highway. As you're cruising around town, it's nice and subtle. You might hear it a little bit. Again, to the trained ear, you're going to notice a little difference. But cruising around with the family, nobody's going to be complaining that you put an exhaust on the truck. Pick up your mom and dad at the airport, same thing. They're not even going to know the difference. But take your buddy out in it, he's definitely going to notice. Borla spends a ton of time engineering and developing their mufflers so that they flow well, but also smooth out the exhaust pulses. And what this means is less of a raspy sound, less of a tinny sound coming out of the back of the vehicle. Even though you're sitting in the driver's seat, you definitely don't want to offend any of your neighbors or anybody anywhere as you're throttling into it and enjoying your Explorer. So this is really important in their design as far as the mufflers are concerned. You have the resonator to knock down the frequencies, and then of course the mufflers to really smooth out that tone as it's coming out the back of the truck. And it really does sound awesome. This Borla S-Type catback exhaust system is a direct bolt-on and will fit 2020 and later Explorer ST and Platinum trim levels. Professional installation is recommended simply because most exhaust shops will have transmission jacks so they can level off the tips and everything while it's still up on the lift. It just makes it so much easier. You can do this at home, just really take your time and work through it slowly, leaving the clamps a little bit loose until you get everything lined up perfectly and then gradually torque them to spec. All of the equipment needed to install these is provided, including 6 stainless steel band clamps. And the piping is all designed for slip fitment. This means no leaks, and you can truly adjust it to fit underneath your Explorer as it should, so that the tips are sitting perfectly in the rear valance, nice and level, and the depths are the same. Again, take your time if you're doing this, or take it to your local professional. If you're looking for a great way to add performance and some style to your Explorer, definitely check out the Borla S-Type catback exhaust system. It sounds great, it looks great, and it really truly finishes off the Explorer, the rear valance, and just the truck itself on both levels, on all levels. You get that more visceral sound that lets you know that you're alive, yet it looks fantastic. You will always do a double take after parking it. I mean, let's face it, you already do, but now you've got a couple more things to check out, these gorgeous tips on the back of your Explorer. If you have any questions or comments, definitely post them below. If you enjoyed the contents of this video, please click like and share it with other Explorer enthusiasts. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications of upcoming videos. To see the latest and greatest things that we're doing with our Explorer ST, as well as other Ford vehicles, check us out on social media. And to learn more about this and so many other parts that we offer, visit Steeda.com. Thank you so much for watching. Steeda, speed matters.